So a lot of my sculptures have always been, just men, and that's kind of like what people see, like whenever it comes to sports and etc. is male figures in sports. But the women are amazing. They have amazing bodies, and they're amazing athletes. And so I wanted to do a piece from some strong um, women athletes. And since I love the physical body, I thought what would be best is to do um, a volleyball player. So this is kind of what I was envisioning. So one knee is going to be on the ground. That'll be my connection point to the base, and then the rest of the body will kind of be floating in the air. So one knee will be down like this. But I also wanted to have the body twisted a little bit. So I'm going to have the body twisted like this. That way you can see the belly, and you can also see the back and and her face pretty well. So it should be pretty good. I definitely want to have a ponytail. I think that's really cute. I want to have the volleyball up against the hands, but I also want to have it pressed in a little bit. Kind of like this picture shows, where you can see that the ball is deformed because she's hitting it. I like all the muscle tone that all these women have. They look very athletic. So the piece, I guess for the sand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lighter wood, a basswood. Doesn't have very distinct grain. And then for the volleyball player, I'm going to use cherry wood, just because it's a darker wood and it'll be a nice contrast between the sand and the volleyball player. So, excuse me, Phoenix. So this is the piece of wood that I purchased for the volleyball player. It's about 10 feet long, about 11 inches wide, and 2.5 inches thick. So obviously I'm going to have to cut this and glue it together to get a piece large enough for what I'm looking for. Unfortunately, if you really want large pieces, I mean, you can get large pieces, but what it takes is that the large pieces have to dry properly, and for them to dry, each inch in diameter takes about 1 year to dry. So a piece like this, if it's you wax the ends and etc., basically to keep the moisture from drying out the ends, and it has to dry out through the sides. So this is basically, I think, 10 or 11 inches wide, square. So this piece probably took about 12 years to dry. So since that's not really an option anymore, we have the option of basically taking a piece like this and getting it flat, cutting it, and joining the pieces and gluing them together and making a bigger piece out of a piece like this. So this piece is basically cut and sawn at a wood shop, and then what they do is they throw it through a kiln, and then the kiln dries the wood, and they can dry it, I think, about 6 inches thick, without the wood cracking or splitting too bad. Anything larger than that, then the wood dries too fast on the outside, and the inside doesn't dry, and so then you get splitting and cracking. So this is the option. This is what we're going to do. We're going to use this piece. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I forgot to mention, so this is what I'm looking at. This is my tape measure that I keep on my table. So basically, I'm going to make this sculpture. I got a tape measure out here, I believe. So I'm going to make it about 30 inches long. So that's about how big my volleyball player will be when she's done. So just to give you an idea. And so the first thing I want to do is I just want to make sure that I get everything correct as far as proportions and kind of the shape, because working in wood is a little bit different than working in clay, in the fact that if you make a mistake, it's very hard to fix. In clay, you know, it's easy. You just add on a piece of clay and resculpt it, and so I'm going to go ahead and make a clay version of the volleyball player. And once I have, and it's not going to be detailed, it'll just be a rough idea, just so I can get, like I said, I want to have her tipped at an angle. I want to have this knee down, but I kind of want to have it, maybe her reached out a little bit more. And so once I have the clay version done, and then I can figure out how big my pieces of wood need to be, and then I'll go ahead and start cutting my wood, and then I'll draw on the wood and bandsaw it out, and then go ahead and start sculpting from there. So that's kind of what I'm going to start on today. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too long. Hopefully it's good information for you all. This is my first time vlogging, and so hopefully I'm doing a good job. We'll see. Hopefully it gets a lot easier. This is definitely interesting for me, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Thanks.